Hi, I am Mackenzie Rayfield. I am currently in my sixth year of teaching kindergarten. I taught second grade for a year, and I have been in education for about 11 years now. I am currently pursuing my master's in reading with an emphasis in elementary education. And today I'm so excited to talk to you about differentiation and engagement when it comes to the brain. And with that learning today, I am going to have you three big takeaways that you can take back and really take to heart. And those three things are these. The brain is a social organ. We got to know that interactions are consistent and constant, whether it be with people or things. We're constantly getting information. So it's social. The brain constantly changes. The brain is constant in a state of constant change. Neuroplasticity is the driving force in that. It's the brain's ability to change. And we're lucky that we have that neuroplasticity because it is how we learn and grow. And we change new pathways and create new pathways in our brain to access that information that we have. And lastly, every brain is different. Because we perceive things differently, because we take things socially different, our brains are all wired differently. Even if we're super simple, we still have different experiences. And so that's what that means. So, taking away those three things, we're going to jump into our differentiation. All right, differentiation. Say it with me. Everyone learns differently. Again, everyone learns differently. Differentiation is as simple as that. It is different. You can hear the word different in it. That's the way we can make a connection in the brain. Different. Differentiation, different ways. Much research has gone into different learning styles. Here are 7 different learning styles that we know of. Visual, we can have people have visual, auditory, verbal learners, physical or kinesthetic learners, logical learners, social learners that like to interact, and then we have solitary learners that like to learn in their own time and way. And one of the things that we can talk about is we can talk about, or one of the ways that we can support differentiation in our classrooms is by number 1, knowing our students. Knowing your students, knowing them as a whole child, knowing their cognitive abilities, their physical abilities, their mental needs, their physical needs, their cognitive needs, their developmental needs. Those are the staples of differentiation, is just simply knowing your students and building those relationships with them, because when they feel safe, they can get out of that primal brain and really get to learning. Because if they're stuck in that primal brain that's like their fight or flight mode, they're not going to be doing that learning with us and making those connections. So a great way that we can get to know our students is like a sweet activity where they're just like, do you like pizza or not? And they stand up if they do, and they sit down if they don't. It's a quick thing called a formative assessment. Another thing that you could do for a formative assessment, if it was academic maybe, is something like, okay, guys, write the number 4. You have a student who writes this. This tells me, oh, I got to work with that student. So knowing that differentiation can happen with formative assessments. Formative assessments, you can do many things with them. You could also do things when it comes to formative assessments around their social emotional needs. Who's feeling good today? Who's feeling bad today? Asking them about their emotional needs as well. So knowing your students and using those formative assessments as a way to get to know them is a really useful tool. And it supports our brain because it creates that safe space. We also have grouping our students by levels, language, and learning styles. There's 3 different ways that we can group our students. We can group our students by these 3 ways. Those are just examples. There are plenty of different ways to do that. We can do it homogeneously when we are going to take them and they're all kind of the same. So if it has that low levels, they're all together, low levels altogether, they're all on that same cognitive level, and I can meet those cognitive needs or those developmental needs of those kids, as opposed to a heterogeneous grouping where it'd be different learners, high, mid-high, low, medium, all meeting in a different place, and they can work as models for each other. So these are 2 ways that we can support differentiation. So our next concept here is engagement. And engagement is really exciting. I want you to say with me, ready? Engagement. Engagement. Engagement is the neurons in our brain firing and wiring. The neurons in our brain are firing and wiring. That's engagement. Engagement is all about curiosity, and we have some ways that we can support that. When the brain is curious, that's when we learn. So the first thing that we can do is provide multimodal experiences. Everybody say it, multimodal experiences. That's where we're going to engage all of the senses. Smelling, hearing, tasting, touching. We're going to explore those 5 senses anytime that we can, especially with a new concept. Another thing that we can do is we can connect our new learning from past learning and for future learning. So taking those kids and be like, ooh, you're going to learn this in the next grade level, or, you already learned this in this grade level, and now we're going to apply it in our grade level. So that is a way that we can do that. And as you can kind of see, we've got some neurons that are meeting other neurons, and that's that transference of knowledge. And that's what we really, really want. We want them to be able to take a skill that they have in, say, reading or writing, and we want them to be able to transfer that into comprehension or new vocabulary. The last one that we have today is our total physical response. And total physical response, or TPR, is just where we're involving the whole body, kind of like we did today with engagement. Oh yeah, engagement. Neurons firing and wiring. So we're remembering what engagement means, differentiation. Everybody learns differently. Those are just different examples of how we can engage our brain and we can engage our students. I hope that you guys kept in mind with you today all of those different ways that we can differentiate and engage our students with the brain in mind, remembering that the brain is social. So we got to provide that differentiation for them, and got to provide that engagement for them, and with them engaging with student to student, teacher to student, and maybe having them teach you or you teach them. The brain is constantly changing. We have to create that thing where we're not going to have a fixed mindset where we can't learn something. Teaching them that growth mindset is really important for our students. And the last thing, every brain is different. And that's exactly, as we know with students, that every brain is different, every child is different, and they all come with different experiences for our classroom. Hope you guys learned something today. Take care.